Okay, I was meditating and this came up and it's kind of interesting, so I want to share it with the world out there. Imagine a guy with a VR headset and he is like moving inside of a relative space of his virtual reality. At the same time, he's on a bus, sitting on a bus, so the bus is also traveling. Now the bus is apparently on a planet and the planet is, let's say, revolving around the sun. So you have multiple relative movements and the bus is for itself a configuration of a reality or a realm. Okay, you can call the bus a realm because it's defined. So within a bus, that realm is moving in the exterior of a larger realm, which is the planet. Inside a bus, I'm having a VR headset or somebody have a VR headset. They're moving in their own relative reality. So why is this interesting? As you are every day glued to your puppet, your body avatar puppet, it's an immersive experience, so you're definitely inside of the 3D space and then you can walk around and whatnot. It's fun. Go hug a tree or something, climb a tree, depending on your temperament. Also, where you're looking from, you are looking from, well, let's say if you would zoom out, you are in a higher realm, okay? And this whole realm construct is contained within this higher realm, okay? And then you have all the way back where you're looking from, you're actually in no space. So no space is the root of your awareness. No space meaning when you come to that point, let's call it a point because we're referencing something in geometry that does not have a space, so it's a point from where you're expanding your awareness, you're projecting your awareness. You're outside of space completely. There's no space even. And then you are projecting your awareness. Now when I say projecting your awareness, how does that work? Do you get glued to your cell phone? Okay, so when I play a video game on my cell phone, my awareness gets projected onto the screen and I become the warrior characters. They're moving around. I'm also controlling them, but they're extension of my awareness. And then I can press buttons on my phone or, press the screen where the buttons are, yeah, and they will then respond to my control. In the same way awareness is controlling the body, there are prompts in your nervous system and you respond to those prompts and it's immersive, so it's glued. Let's say when you say like, you think of a movement and then is already autonomous nervous system has a sequence that it lifts your arm and then you do this. So the sequence is recorded, it's an animation sequence. The hand goes, autonomous nervous system does, the hand goes and then it lies the letter, but I have to select that. And this goes subconsciously, of course, but you can like, if you're learning like control movements, like, martial arts or dance or something like this, then you're also able to kind of like go in this pause, almost like you can pause time and then select the sequence. Of course, you have to entrain sequences. Like if I entrain this sequence, lighting a cigarette, it's okay. If I want to do a spinning kick, my body has to remember that sequence, okay? Otherwise, I might want to do a spinning kick and the body goes flippy, floppy, and there's no graciousness in that spinning kick. Okay, so pre-recorded movements, they're remembered by the body, by your subconscious, and then they are animated. So your puppet has many animation sequences And it does these things. When I play the video game on the phone, though, it's like also there is an immersion, because there's all this etheric, or like on an energetic level, I literally am glued. There's an etheric connection with my phone, okay? And these toys, these little avatars on the screen, they become alive because my consciousness is projected and it's connected to them. And then, of course, I have to go and interact with it through its respective user interface, basically. So there are etheric connections with people, places, things, and in my previous video I explored how intuition works and why you get a certain response through these etheric connections when your awareness sees something, you're not reacting, not noticing. Like, there are millions of cars, million of people, million of trees, and I'm just like browsing around and something catches my attention. It's because I'm prompted, my awareness goes to that because there is an etheric connection then created. Now, if I go into, I don't know, a random car that's parked around there, and I look at a random car, there's no connection. You see, there's no emotional, mental response to that. But if you start to make questions about the car, it creates a feedback loop of information. So everything that you ever given your awareness to, and you given your emotion or your thoughts to, you create like a permalink. Okay, so that's a link between you and that unique object or that object type. Okay, so let's say you start noticing cars, or you start noticing certain type of cars, like sports cars. Okay, then you remember that type, and whenever a sports car passes you by, there will be this feedback loop, etheric connection. Now, if you start to notice a specific type of car or specific color of the car, then this is remembered, and if that type of car or that model or that specific color passes, you will then be prompted. And this is why you basically subscribe into everything. Everything is subscription based, and whatever you give your attention to, it reiterates. The more you give your attention to something, the more you will see it show up again and again and again in your reality. Okay? Now, let's talk about another thing, kind of like unrelated. So this is pretty funny. I don't know why is this coming up. Okay, so lately, or actually in the last 10 years or so, if I imagine something, and when I say imagine, I mean visualize something to be physically present in front of me when that is not physically present. Okay, so I imagine and I can like feel something in my virtual reality relative space. Okay, so that's in front of me in my arm's length. Things, and I imagine things in a certain arrangement. Things come into reality in that arrangement. So it's really funny, like I imagine money falling on me, and life literally creates such a silly situation in which that happens. And then, you know, if I imagine maybe just like money falling on me, then somebody may spill the bills all over. It may be like a dance party, somebody throws all these bills or whatever. And then kids might come and collect those monies, or I may imagine some of the money's falling on me and I'm just like hoarding it in my jacket, and then that's what happens. So it's it's pretty funny actually, because I'm also trying to stay like this um, um, oh my god, it's too funny. It's too funny. So now I'm imagining like a card flipped upside down, and like seeing a car flipped upside down, and like no, I'm also imagining like, oh, let's have nobody hurt in a car accident, but just to see a car flipped upside down, and I don't know why. Now the funny thing is about when you're like manifesting something like this, it's first of all a distinction of like being in a mode of surrender and like being super relaxed, and then just jamming together with the universe or this reality console, where things just come to you for some reason, like money falling on you, or a car flipped upside down, or other things are kind of coming organically to your imagination. So you don't force imagination or manifestation in any way. You just like actually detach from many etheric connections that are prompting you, so you can stay as relaxed consciousness. So you're trying to move yourself further and further, deeper and deeper into this consciousness that is outside of space. Okay, when you are in your first person immersion and there are all these prompts, and you're working and you're thinking about the money, you're focused, right? So you can't manifest from this circumference, like all of these layers of immersion. You can't really, you don't have enough wiggle room to manifest, because you're trying to manifest, but your point of view is here or here or here, okay? And then it's all mental, and it's not coming from the causal layer. So the causal layer of reality is actually, the whole reality is within you as awareness. Okay, so this came back into the my previous expose on 0 point. I was like, why am I talking about money falling and car flips upside down? So you see, when I'm immersed in this also funnel of what I'm talking about, I can't see the whole transmission. I don't have the bird's eye view, if you will. So sometimes then when you're doing something, you have to do what's in front of you. You have to have faith in the larger operating system, like have faith in God. But when you immerse into something, you have to remind yourself that you are all of that, that you are the whole operating system, God, whatever you want to call it. And it's kind of like hard. And also when you're immersed into something, you will try to have effective control over it in the physical body. So when we are in the ego, we're in the immersion, subject and object interacting, like I'm doing this. If somebody is like, then the wind is coming, I'm gonna start to be agitated, frustrated at the wind, because I can't seem to make it work. Okay, and maybe also get in frustration or conflict with like traffic or other people, whatever, because you are in control with your intention. And then if somebody is like interfering, or something is interfering with that, and you can't let go, you're gonna get frustrated, controlling and whatnot. So this is why sometimes we need to actually practice, this type of mindfulness, is actually being able to be completely transcendent of the game, and then being fully immersed at the same time. This is also called tantra, rather, like being fully immersed in your, like penis. This might in the tip of your penis, or like where you have vagina or some other stuff. You're there, and you have the sensual, the tactile, all of this feeling, and then at the same time you're like in this remote, transcendent point where you're projecting your awareness from high dog ego, you see. And then you can also be more fluid with all the co-creation and all the changes, right? Because we all know when we try to control stuff, shit gets frustrating, right? And we can get into like conflict because we're not able to zoom out from our own individual perspective. This is why we have conflict. It's like two egos seeing their own perspective, but not also being able to emulate that the other perspective is complementary, right? So transcending this conflict or stuff is like being multidimensional, and if you want to be multidimensional, you need to know the previous of any dimension or immersion into any dimension or realm, that you are this no space, right? And so when you are relaxed in this no space, then there is a productive jam. From the first person you have then kind of like the potential timelines or inspirations coming to you as inspirations or imaginations, and then you can select. And you select, you anchor that into your mood board, a card flip upside down, like a stack of money in my hand, and then poof. So that we have a doggy situation here. Dobar dan. Mršo, ajde brate, idi negde tamo. Ajde. Yeah, but the doggy situation. I'm trying to not be frustrated by the interruption. See, it's a part of nature, part of co-creation. Yeah. So then this manifestation is effortless. And there's also like another kind of layer of reasoning or understanding. This is like that the you in the no space or in the absolute. All of these other realms and like layers and dimensions are, then you have your relative position. Like the guy, in his VR he's somewhere, but on a bus he's in another place, but then the bus is also going from one city to another city. So everything, like all the realms have their relative movement. You, the observer, you are in the absolute, no space beyond all realms or dimensions of reality. So ain't that crazy, right? And then all of the realms are happening inside of your projected awareness, if that makes sense. So like take a computer, for example, or a phone screen with a video game or my video, right? You are now immersing yourself into my space and my transmission, and we're creating a reality together. I'm transmitting and I have the audience, and then we are in a creative realm, even though we're physically separated on a quantum level. We are sitting in the same space, you see. Now beyond all the realms and all the points of view, all the individual respective points of view, you, me, everybody else, turtle, rabbit, we are all being observed from what we may call Brahman, okay, or like this supreme consciousness, the one consciousness that is enveloping. Okay, enveloping, it looks like a sphere. I said no space. Well, the consciousness projects itself in a spherical fashion, and then all of these realms are nested layers inside of the sphere. So you're looking from everything everywhere all at once. You're looking from your imagined sphere, and inside of the sphere there are like nested layers, yeah. So now, because you are at the 0 point, when you are also in the tip of your finger, and you're feeling the breathing through your nose and through your body, and like it's a full immersion, now things come to you as imagination. Who is seeing that? You are then the author and the owner of this cosmic toy, this universal console, this Sony PlayStation, if you will. This universe is within you. And then funny enough, your avatar is within the screen of that universe, or one of the screens. and then the imaginations are already rendered out in the console. Okay, so the stack of money, or the money falling, or the car flips upside down, or me having an ice cream, it's all already existing. It's not here in the screen as a physical reality at this moment, how this reality is showing up, okay? But you are putting that in your mood board, and then the console is, when you selected, the console puts it into your movie. So further down the timeline that happens. Crazy activity with the doggies. Sip some coffee. So maybe my stack of money comes from you because you're an upcoming wizard and you want to do my mentorship 101. So if that's the case, hit me up. But here's the thing. When I put like the, okay, now like let's create some monies for me. It's very good. So when I put the money there, right, then I'm not actually linking that in a linear fashion with anything. Like I don't have to sell things. I don't have to actually even get out of bed for this thing to realize itself in my timeline. There's already an existing timeline for me. There are things that are bound to happen, and the console calculates what is the most efficient way to distribute people, scenarios, co-actors, props, whatever. So when I say let's do a mentorship, I'm actually having like this purse, like I'm like sitting with somebody. Now I didn't do one-on-one work for a while, and like I don't want to do work like my previous type of like work. It was more, and see, so I have not a crystal clear imagination of what is that, who that is sitting there. Like I know my like mentorship price and something, but I decided that I wanted to change the way I do this, you see. So when I look in the field in front of me, I'm not like invoking or imagining crystallize like who is that, who's this person, what are we like doing, what are we talking about. And then as I start to imagine that, there is these then previous memories coming and some emotional feedback about like when I was working with this person, when I was working with that person, what I like about it, what I didn't like about it, and so on. So before that becomes really, it's a selection point. It's kind of like where you curate your life. When you curate your mood board, you have to select. If you're like leaving options and like I like this and I like this, it's not gonna become crystallized in the physical reality. Or you can leave it up to the console to decide just based on a like general style of the car. I don't want to select the color or a model. I just know it. I want a Jeep or SUV, and then universe just gives you like all kind of SUVs, and then you might want to be like, maybe I don't want to like all kind of SUVs. I want an electric one. So then you're giving information, you're narrowing down the choice. So with me doing this, I wanted to say, because also it's like a note. Де си руки?
Jebi ga dok stigne.
Hoće da sedneš? Ajde, jel ima, uzmi još jednu stolicu da do kraja. So just to wrap this up, I'm gonna do also businesses business magic and sales magic in the next video. And we can go more into this.